Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Drillstevejr Jr. review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Velocitron 500 Collection, Voyager Class, Cybertron Universe, Override. That was a complete mouthful. Anyway, now let's get into the review, shall we? So here is Override in her sort of Cybertronian, futuristic style race car mode. It's a little bit blocky near the back compared to the front, but I think it still looks pretty good overall. The back looks a little bit ugly with that big gap there, but I don't really look at vehicle modes from the back too much. As for the bottom, though, the bottom actually looks pretty good for vehicle mode standards. Sure, you can see the arms right there, but the rest of it, you can't really tell what any of this other stuff up front is supposed to be. Unless you've owned this figure and you know how it transforms. But, like, to an average person, you're like, oh, those are the arms, and I don't know what anything else is supposed to be. This is eluding me. There is one problem I have with this figure, is that the headlights are not painted, because these parts right here are headlights as shown with the show and the original toy, but, the headlights, the area where the headlights are supposed to be is molded, like the outline is molded, if the camera can focus, please. But, like, there's a mold. The outline of where the headlights are supposed to be is molded, but there is no paint there. There's no white or silver or any other kind of color that would fit headlights. You could even use metallic blue like they did for these parts, which are picked out in paint. And I don't even know what these two parts are, but they didn't bother painting the headlights, which is annoying. But the rest of this toy, I think, is pretty good, so I can let it slide by like a hair. It's still annoying, but it's not enough to break the toy for me. The windshield is in a nice translucent or transparent. I always mix up which one is called translucent and which one's called transparent. I think it's translucent, this type of material. For the windshield in a nice red. And we have one of these intakes up here, as you see on like an Indy car or a Formula 1 car. And the fenders are sort of rounded and bulging out, kind of like a Le Mans prototype. So it's sort of a mixture of an F1 car and a Le Mans prototype. Maybe even a little bit of NASCAR with the more boxy back half. Overall, I think it looks pretty cool. Got some nice red paint on the white bits. The wheels are very nice, as you can see. It is translucent plastic with a gold paint for the rims, and the rims themselves kind of look like jet turbines. In addition, there's a little bit of texture on the wheels themselves, as sort of some grooves right here. And that allows it, if you put it down and you roll it, it makes that cute little sound, and I think that's really fun. Yeah, and going back here to the back, we have these two parts right here that stick out, and you can actually put effect parts back there. And you can make it so that she's going turbo boost or something. Boom! And going back down to the bottom, there's actually a hole right here, and that's where you can put a stand adapter. So if you want to, you can have it be sort of like G1 Tracks, a flying car. And I think that's really cool that you can do that if you want to. The stand is not included, by the way. This is a Bandai stand. Just want to make that clear. Stand is not included. And there is also a port right here. So if you want to, you can take a gun, like this is Core Class Prime's gun, and you can put it on the top and have her shoot at other racers on the racetrack. Because that is totally street legal. Oh, goodness me. So I think that's everything in terms of the car mode. Now let's get down to size comparisons. So, let's start off with Core Class Laserbeak, or as I like to call him, Pink Bumblebee, because it's Bumblebee but pink. So that's how she scales with a core class. Here she is with a one-step changer wheeljack from Earth Spark. Here she is with a standard deluxe, a deluxe car with a smoke screen. Here she is with Hound from The Last Night. So you can see how she scales with, was roughly a standard sized Voyager. Maybe Hound's a little bit bigger than average, but I would still consider it about that range. Here she is with a Disney Pixar car, and this one wants to roll off the table. Here she is with a Hot Wheel. So you can see how she scales with a Hot Wheel. Second to last vehicle mode comparison, we have her with a standard NASCAR diecast, the green and white Zebra. Here she is with a Hot Wheels monster truck that I've been getting into a lot recently. And one final comparison, I almost forgot about this one. Here she is with a Lego minifigure. So you can see how she scales with Commander Cody, and I don't know. It might be minifigure scale, might be a little bit too small. That's up for you to decide on the next episode of The Price is Right. So now, let's get down to transformation. So the first thing you want to do is you want to come to the front and you want to use your nail if you have long nails, and if not, I don't know, maybe take a part separator or something, and open this up, almost like a bird beak, and that will give you the ability to wiggle the front section apart. Then you want to take one of the front sections and extend them out. Now this is on a double joint, and there is a tab right there, and there's a slot inside the leg, and you collapse that up until you hear that loud click sound. And then you want to take this red part, or well, it's a white part painted in red, and flip that up, and then pull out the foot, and then you want to take the hinge that the black piece is on, and collapse that down, and there is a slot right there and a tab right there. That will go flush, and then twist the leg until that's all oriented correctly. Now do the same thing on the other side. Pull it out, click it into place, open up that red piece, flip out the foot, close up the back part, twist that all to the front, and there we have some legs. Oh, what fine legs you have. Now let me raise up the camera. I really love this new tripod I got for Christmas. So now we can work on the top half. Now the first thing you want to do is come back here and flip out the forearms, and you want to twist the hands. You want to do these now so that you don't forget. Because I've had times where I transformed this figure and then I completely forgot that I forgot to twist the hands around. And then you want to untab the arms from one another and flip them around on the tires. So the tires are now facing the inside. Now you want to come to the side, and there's another double hinge right here. You want to flip this hinge up like so, and then back about like that. So you get about like that shape. And you want to flip down the cockpit so that everything will be locked into place. And oh my god, the head was actually the air intake the whole time. Wow, didn't see that coming. So then you want to... Oh, I thought you had to twist the arms back like that, but then I remembered, oh wait, that's the front of the windshield. So let me put that back. Then you want to take the black part and push it down so that it's flush against the back. And then you have these two arm assemblies. Now, I don't know how well I'll be able to capture this on camera, but there is a slider in here. And you want to have the arm assemblies up like that. And there is a slot right there, a tab right there. There's a tab right there and a slot right there. So you want to shimmy the assembly across. It takes a bit of doing, but you just gotta be patient. And you gotta slot it in like so. Now do the same on the other side. You want to shimmy it across, and you want to be able to fish it in like so. So all tabbed together like that. And there you have, and now I can bring the camera down a bit. There you have Override in her robot mode. And I think it's a pretty good robot mode, a nice representation of how she was in the show. And her original toy, although it is a bit slimmer, which makes sense now since the original toy was supposed to be a male character, but then she got changed to a female character because of Cartoon Network. You know, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the story about this character. But let's get in close on the details. We have a very nice looking head, and her eyes are painted in a nice blue. The funny thing is that her back of her head is translucent, so she does have light piping, but since it's a translucent red, if you take a flashlight, her eyes turn red. So, I guess if you try to light pipe her eyes, she turns evil, and I don't really know why they even made her head light piping, since they were going to paint her eyes blue anyway, but I don't know. I'm not complaining, I just think it's a little bit weird. Relatively simple in overall detail, but there is some nice detail, like the arms are painted in this nice gold part, which sort of has like a smokestack sort of look. Her legs. You can spin her wheels if you want. Her headlights become the feet. I mean, another complaint that some people might have with her is that her thighs are extremely thin and toothpick looking, but I don't know. Just keep her massive kneecaps up there, and it fills things out. And it makes her more unique. You know, these are robots, so gotta take some liberties with the proportions sometimes. So, you may be wondering, I did not cover accessories in vehicle mode, or how to store accessories in vehicle mode. Does she even come with accessories? Because the effect pieces and the stand do not come with the figure. I just showed those off as compatibility. Well, if you come to the back, the thrusters were the gun the whole time. So technically it's parts forming, but since you can leave it on through the transformation, and since it's a weapon, I don't really care. So you can flip out these side parts, Oh, and you can adjust these flaps so you can have them straight up or out to the side. But I prefer to have them like this. I think they look the best like that. You have these two cannons, which kind of look like cigarettes or cucumbers. And coming to the back here, there is a slot for a cyberplanet key, if you have a cyberplanet key. I do not have a cyberplanet key, and from what I've seen of other reviews, it sort of slips out and doesn't really fit in the best, and it doesn't really do anything. But if you have a cyberplanet key from like the original Override or a Cybertron figure that you grew up with or whatever, it will fit in here, so that's pretty cool. And there's some nice detail like a tank hatch, and there's the port I mentioned earlier. Now you can put it on her arm, but let's be real, you want to put it in her hand so she can... A race doesn't start without a starting gun, or whatever she said in that one episode where she fought Scourge. Cybertron was a great show. I love Cybertron. Now you can insert the blast effect parts if you want, so that you can be like Emgo and go bloosh. You can go bloosh if you want to. Oh, goodness me. But yeah, now let's run down articulation. So with the head, it can move a full 360. And it is on a ball joint, but it only goes down that far and up that far, so not really much point of putting the ball joint there. The shoulders can go a full 360, and I bumped the camera. It can go in and out like so. Bicep swivel. Bend at the knee. Ankle rotation. Waist swivel. Limited by the back panel, but it is there. The waist can go up that far, and it can go out that far, so she can do the full splits. That would probably be extremely painful, but she can do it. She has a bicep swivel. No, this is a thigh swivel. That's a bicep swivel. She has a knee bend, and if you want to untab everything, you can make her knee go stupidly far, but why would you want to do that? Come on. There we go. And her ankles can pivot a little bit, and it can bend that far back and that far forward. So not the most overly posable thing, but you can get enough out of her poses. You know, you can do that. That actually looks pretty cool. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail for this video. We'll see. But yeah, now let's move on to comparisons in robot mode. So starting off with comparisons, we have Core Class Sound Blaster. So you can see how she scales with Sound Blaster. Here she is with one-step Wheeljack. Here she is with a standard deluxe class figure. We have Tarantulas. So you can see how she scales with Tarantulas. So she's about a head, about this taller than Tarantulas at the shoulders. Here she is with one of the bigger deluxes. Here she is with Hoist. And I'd say they're about the same size. Hoist might be a smidge taller. Should probably raise the camera up a bit since... Come on. There we go. Raise the camera a bit since the remaining figures are going to get quite tall. So there she is with hoist. Here she is with come on. Why are you not standing? You stand perfectly fine normally. There she is with Tigertron. So you can see how she compares with a standard Voyager. He's about like a head taller than her. Here she is with my last review, which is Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. And for those who didn't believe me about it looking like a box cutter, see, it looks like a box cutter. Y'all didn't believe me, but I was right. Here she is with pretty big leader class figure, Overload. And Overlord. Overload is that guy from RID 2015 that was like a Shakespearean actor for some reason. And then speaking of big figures, here she is with easily my biggest in my collection. Jetfire. She's like a little baby compared to Jetfire. And now on to some shorter comparisons of why is the camera not focusing. Some shorter come on tripod, please work with me. Please work with me. There we go, perfect. Some shorter comparisons from non-Transformers themes. Here she is with a 3 3/4 inch action figure, Poe Dameron. Here she is with Epic Heroes Iron Man. Here she is with Marvel Legends Black Widow. Here she is with a Lego minifigure. So you can see roughly how they scale. And we're almost done with the comparisons. Let's finish things off strong with the big three. Starting with Barry, the Baryonyx. And I just knocked something over, but it didn't fall on the floor. So I'll pick it up and rearrange it when I'm done this review. Here she is with McFarlane Toys Uraka. I still really want to get the Figma version. And last but not least, here she is with Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. Damn straight. And not only is this figure really awesome, and I really like ending on comparing him to her, it's also another Cybertron homage, so it works even in that way. So, would I recommend Override? I'd say get her, well, if you can find her, because I know for a lot of countries that do not have Walmart, mainly just because only really Canada and the US has Walmart, so yeah. You might have to pay a pretty penny to get her if you don't live in Canada or the US. But if you do live in the US and Canada and you have a Walmart near yours, check your Walmart and see if they still have her. I don't know if they still do, but I think she's a really good figure, and I recommend it to anyone who can find her. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. This is Drillstevejr Jr. signing off, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.